Hi, class. I'm Valencia Williams. I'm here to talk about my five cultural artifacts that do make up my cultural identity. This is all based on the fact that I am a young Christian Black professional woman. So, those five artifacts are based on those five things that I just mentioned. Please excuse me as I look over to the side to make sure I cover all my bases, which is all the questions that we're supposed to answer, and if I need to pick up an artifact to show you. Okay, I'm a little nervous, so please bear with me. So, the very first artifact in order of importance is the Smart Guide to the Bible. I am a Christian. That is most significant to me. So, that is Christian culture that I will be speaking about now. Um, Christian culture does require you to study the Bible, it does require you to worship God. Um, Someone outside of Christian culture, which we consider to be non believers, may see me as a Bible thumper or somebody super religious. According to my non denominational faith, I don't consider myself to be religious per se because you can be religious with anything. You can eat religiously, exercise religiously. Uh, so I believe in relationship with Christ. I do believe I have an authentic relationship with God. Um, so studying the Bible is important because I am going to live my life according to the Bible as a Christian in Christian culture. Um, the cultural values for Christian culture and how it affects the way I see the world. So I do have a lot of integrity. When I do go to church, I may feel a sense of conviction in my spirit. I do discipline myself on certain things. I am a strong advocate of purity. Um, I do believe in saving myself for marriage, all of those things. Always have and always will, according to Christian culture. That is the goal, and I want to continue in that. Um, so, let's see here. I just want to make sure I covered all my bases. So, yes, has this changed over time? As I get to know God more, as I grow in the Word spiritually, um, Christian culture for me, or how I view my cultural values, they have changed over time. I think that I take it a lot more seriously. As a child, you can get saved, invite Christ into your life, and I do take it very seriously. I always have. I do come from a Christian background. My father does is a preacher, but so that does have something to do with it. But at the same time, um, independent of all that, I am very strong in my faith and my relationship with God. So that is Christian culture, Christian identity for me. All right, moving on. The second one is I am an African American. So I will show you this African American artifact. Okay, I think you can see it. It's two women in a boat with two clay pots here. Um, so I have this kind of sitting on my TV stand. Thought this is a good depiction. Um, I am very, very Afrocentric, and I did have one of my classmates ask me during our other activity that we had to do to learn about each other what I mean by Afrocentric. I'm very into my African heritage. I, of course, believe that I descended from African people. I am African American, born here in America, with African ancestry. I do want to explore that more. A lot of my people, I would say, have these figurines that represent us. Back in time, not many people, we didn't have many things that represented us. You now see more African American Barbies. You now see more African American superheroes. For instance, Black Panther. You now see us in represented a lot more. I will say back in the day, my mom said she dipped her Barbie, which was a Caucasian Barbie. She dipped the head of it. Her older sister dipped the head of it. Um, I forgot what the substance was, but to make it she dyed the Barbie to be a black woman. So we want to be represented, and I think this is a beautiful representation. Um, we are a racially oppressed people. And I love learning about my background and how my people overcame and are still overcoming certain things in society and so on and so forth. So I think this is beautiful. I love African attire. I would like to visit Africa one day. I would like to know what African tribe I descended from, what people I come from. So, um, yes, I'm interested in our roots, our historical roots and heritage, and even our hair. We have very naturally curly hair um, that is actually made to withstand heat and everything like that. So I'm just really interested in everything about African American culture, other cultures as well. But I am African American, so I am of course interested in my culture and always love learning about it. So let's see. How does a viewer who doesn't know me, what do they see in the cultural symbol? Someone who doesn't quite know me or who hasn't seen this before might just say, hey, these are two African women in a boat. It may not be as important to them. It may be nice to look at and they may just move on. But me being of this heritage, it does hold a lot more um, importance to me. I'm very proud of my people and what we've accomplished and who we are. And let's see here. Implied meanings of this symbol. I'm not really sure what can be implied from this, other than they may be carrying water here. Um, they obviously are African. Their attire seems to be African, the little gold bands on the arm and everything. You might have a better picture of it in my visual. Um, so let's see here. Cultural values for African Americans. I believe we are very strong in having pride in who we are. As I would say, over time, we have taken back a lot of our um, confidence in who we are. I can see it represented a lot more. We refer to ourselves as kings and queens. We uplift each other. We are about hard work and overcoming. We're um, um, about pushing ourselves and being the best that we can be in the face of adversity. Um, so there's so many cultural values with African Americans. There's way too many to list, but those are a few that I can want to go over right now. And let's see here. Okay, I will move on to the next one. So I said I was a Christian, an African American, and of course I am a female. So I will bring my artifact up for female. Okay, so what you see here is nail polish remover. So I started to do nail polish, but I decided, hey, let me do nail polish remover to kind of make people think a little bit. So with nail polish remover, this implies that a person has on nail polish because in order to remove it, this is what you need. Um, as a woman, um, I'm representing feminine culture. And with feminine culture, the value that I want to bring up today is beauty. Um, so there's so much media that tells us to be sexy and to be seductive, and at a young age, young girls want to stuff their bra. They want to look like they have, you know, big breasts, big, there's so many implants and pressures on us to be perfect. And I think as time moved on, we're no longer so into being perfect, but we want to embrace imperfections or what society may deem imperfect. So anyway, um, nail polish is good. Nail polish in this case represents beauty, and this represents not conforming to beauty. So I believe you can be beautiful with nail polish and without it. You can. This represents versatility as a woman. I mean, you can do different gender roles. You can do gender roles of men. Um, you can be versatile any way that you want to be as a woman. Um, put on the polish, take the polish off. Be who you want to be as a woman. I think that's the cultural value that I keep hearing now. Don't conform to beauty standards or beauty norms. Be who you are. You are a queen. You know, those are the messages that I'm getting now. I think women are represented a lot more positively and in a way that carries a lot of strength. So I thought this might be good to include um, for the feminine culture. And I want to speak about beauty. So that's where I'm coming from with that. What does a viewer who doesn't know me see in the cultural symbol that I'm a woman? I wanted to get something significant to women. Nowadays, there may be men that wear nail polish. So, no offense to anyone out there, but I wanted to get something specific to women that you kind of see more of. Um, so, let's see. Okay, I think I covered everything there. Let's see here. So, I am also professional. So, I brought with me my degree from Valdosta State University, my bachelor's degree in mass media, Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. And I am professional. That is very, very important to me. I'm a very ambitious young woman. Um, so here's my degree right here, bachelor's degree. And of course, I am working on my master's degree, as we all are. Um, so as a graduate student, of course, I have plans to work in adult education. That's very important to me. I would like to teach Spanish. I would like to continue doing workforce development, getting people ready for work. I am currently working in HR. I would also like to teach adult literacy and English as a second language. So all of those goals are very important. In order to reach those goals, you have to, have an education. And so that is part of my professional uh, culture. In professional culture, it is important to carry yourself in a professional manner. Um, it is very important to make sure you do things the right way, have workplace etiquette, um, network properly, present yourself properly, be poised in a lot of important situations. Let's see here. What does the symbol say about my cultural identity? Um, Someone who sees my degree pretty much will guess that, hey, she's educated. I think that was a pretty implied symbol from looking at the visual of my bachelor's degree. Um, let's see here. Has this changed over time? No, I don't. I really don't think it's changed over time. I think a degree represents what it represents. Hey, someone's going to school because they're trying to reach a goal. And I think that's very, very important to your professional life. So, going to school, being professional, reaching your goals, helping others around you. Um, you're here for a purpose. I think it represents purpose. Um, it's pretty much for professional culture that I had. Um, and lastly, I am a millennial. I was born in 1990. Anyone, I guess, born after 1981 is a millennial. So I cannot physically show you this laptop because that was my actual symbol for um, millennial culture. I started to do a remote because of, but I don't think a remote really represents what I'm trying to say. I picked a laptop, and the laptop, it shows social media on the laptop. So you will see that in my cultural visual. Sorry, I'm speaking so much. I'm trying to slow down. So we are a culture who is very much into getting what we want when we want it, like that, like a microwave generation. We have access to all different type of technology. We're technology savvy. Um, it's like in this day and time, you're almost a dinosaur if you don't know how to do certain things on the computer. That's kind of how our generation sees things. Um, it's really important to today, living in the now, being able to access things that we need to access. Let's see here. So seeing that social media on the screen, I think they won't. Someone from the outside that really doesn't know me, just seeing this symbol, they may think, okay, so she's into social media, so she's social, she's probably young or something like that. That may be what somebody might think about seeing the symbol. Um, let's see here. How is it a part of my cultural identity? We use laptops every day for school, work, what have you, personal. Um, Cultural values of millennial generation, just getting what you want, getting it now, accessing things, being social, um, posting things, letting people into your world, open communication. Um, that's what I feel like that represents. Um, Having laptops just opens you up to so much more. If you don't have technology today, you're kind of missing out on huge parts of communication. Um, so for my reflective summary, I kind of want to get into that. New or reinforced insights about my culture. Write that down. Okay. Um, when we were asked to do this, I immediately thought culture. Okay, African American. Sometimes race just comes directly into my head when we're talking about culture, and I know it's not just race. After learning about our different cultural identities, I think it helped a whole lot for me to be able to brainstorm some things that make up my cultural identity. So I really enjoyed the exercise we did with our partner before this. It did open my mind up to, you're more than just a black woman, and I know that, but it just showed me so much more about myself. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Um, Someone from the outside looking in, um, it's easy to be distracted by stereotypes. Stereotypes are everywhere. They're everywhere, and they cause us to prejudge someone. And it is unfortunate, but it is very real. Um, so, someone from the outside looking in may, prejudge one of my artifacts. And then after hearing this, may think, hey, you know, I thought this about her, but maybe she's not that, she's more than that, or this is what her interest is, and things like that. And I'm sure that will happen to me with someone else, with another classmate. I'm excited to see everyone else's videos as well. Um, let's see here. How does it affect my professionalism? Okay. Well, as a black woman, I feel like, we are at the bottom of the totem pole. Women, of course, are um, under men as far as pay, as far as equality, and things like that. And then black women, of course, I think we are probably at the very bottom of that scale. So culturally, I believe us, as black women, we have to work a lot harder. We have to fight a lot stereotypes a whole lot more. Um, we have to present ourselves with class and poise, which is already in us to do, but we probably just have to prove it a lot more because of the stereotypes that people may have of us. Not everyone has those stereotypes implanted in their minds, but we fight against that all the time. So one of our cultural norms is to work harder, work twice as hard to prove people wrong. Um, let's see. Also, professional wise, I am a Christian. I don't impose. I tell people about Christ, but I don't impose my values on anyone. Um, I don't hit anyone over the head with my Christian values. I have had people at work tell me there's just something about you. There's a light in you. Um, and I've had that happen before. There's a light in you. There's something about you I know that has to do with your faith. I've had people at work tell me your Christianity is smothering, and I've never even talked about Christ to them. They said there's an aura around you. Um, so you know, I don't. When it comes to being professional, I don't always speak about my faith background. I may do that if I find another believer and we're at lunch or something, but um, I'll be proud to be a Christian, but I have to be careful where I share that information in the workplace. Um, let's see. And I know that people practice other religions as well, and I'm very respectful of that. So I will say my Christianity does affect how I carry myself at work. It affects my views as a millennial. It affects my views as someone who is educated. It affects my views as someone who is African American. So that is the number one. Um, that is the number one cultural identity of significance to me. So I hope I wasn't rambling. I hope you all learned something about me. I'm really excited to hear your videos, and thank you so much for listening. I just want to make sure I covered everything here. Let's see here. Yes, I believe I have. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy my visual.